This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. Is that not the truth or what? It does not matter who the host is. Anyways, hopefully everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are hanging out on this lovely Friday. Yes, Friday, or should I say Friday or Fry something. So there you go. Today's July the 9th of 2021, day 190th of the year, and only 175 days left to go. So hopefully everything's got off to a grand start as you're hanging out this lovely morning. You know, I never know what to do when we get to Fridays because it's always like, oh, should we be excited? Should we not be excited? Anyways, we're broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. And then, of course, we are streaming across the multiverse of Safety FM. And then, of course, hanging out as well with our friends and colleagues from that other place. You know, that other place.
Always streaming. Radio Big.
Yep, that's what we do. Always streaming Radio Big. So there you go. So here's the thing. It is Friday. We are hanging. We are doing. So just like any other time inside of my life, this is going to be like day one. And what do I mean when I say that? Because like always, we did some changes inside of the studio. So they changed out the nucleus of this bad boy. So I am interacting with something that I've never interacted with. So it's going to be fun. And it's not like when we do the show anyways. It's not like it's day one every day anyways, because of all the screw ups that I end up doing one way, shape, or form. So don't worry about that if more mistakes than normal, but that's what I do. And that's kind of the cool part. Anyway, so let's start talking about what is trending right away because that's going to be important for some of us. And let's start talking about the all-importante of the actual things that will be on video on demand services this week. So new to Hulu will be Barb and the Star Go to Vista del Mar in a World in Mafi. According to Amazon Prime, what will be new over there on that side of the house will be How I Became a Superhero and Last Summer. New to Netflix is pretty much the exact same thing. And Disney Plus with Premier Access today, you can watch The Black Widow. And then, of course, they'll also have the option of watching Flicka. Yeah, Flicka, I said. Flicka. So there you go. That's the movie news of what's going on first thing and all that kind of fun stuff. Yes, in case you did notice, I am rocking the NWO shirt today because it is one of those things. If you did not know this, it is the 25th year, or it's the 25th anniversary of the creation of the NWO. So supporting, one of my favorite groups. I should have brought the picture in now that I think about it. Maybe we'll have time to do something with that if you want to. Anyway, so let's get us rolling and bowling inside of what is going on inside of the world of the news. We'll get that moving your general direction. So here's our friends at Feature Story News giving us the features and the stories and the news. So here you go.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Police in Haiti say a hit squad of retired Colombian soldiers assassinated President Jovenel Moïse on Wednesday. 17 suspects have been arrested, 2 are on the run, and the rest were shot dead during gun battles. The motive behind the assassination remains unclear. COVID infections in the state of New South Wales have jumped again. 44 new locally acquired cases in the Australian state, with 27 of them moving around in the community while infectious. It's the highest number since the Sydney outbreak began on June the 16th, as Sean Bindley reports.
With the message seemingly not getting through to people about being tested and isolating when they have symptoms, the state's lockdown is on the verge of being extended beyond next week. New South Wales Health Minister Brad Hazzard has pleaded with residents to stay at home unless it's absolutely necessary.
I can't tell you how concerned I am now as Health Minister the way this Delta virus is moving through our community. We were told some years ago to be alert and not alarmed. Right now, here in Greater Sydney as Health Minister, I am both alert and alarmed.
In Brisbane, I'm Sean Bindley.
The head of India's top advisory on COVID-19 vaccines says the country will be ready to roll them out to under 18-year-olds from September. Experts say it could protect the country from subsequent waves of infection. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Domestic vaccine makers Zydus Cadila and Bharat Biotech are both running trials for under 18s. Expectations are that Zydus vaccine could be made available as early as September, followed by Covaxin made by Bharat Biotech. For some time now, there have been concerns about younger people being affected more adversely in case of a third wave. While the Indian Pediatric Association has said that those below 18 may still be better protected from the virus, authorities are not willing to take any chances. They are readying pediatric wards across the country, but believe that vaccines are the only long-term solution to ensuring safety for young people. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
The UK says it's working to relax travel restrictions for people who've been vaccinated in other countries. On Thursday, quarantine was dropped for Britons returning to the UK from most countries if they've received 2 jabs from the National Health Service. But many Brits who live abroad are angry they can't yet travel to their home country without isolating because of where they received vaccine doses. It also means international tourism to the UK remains almost non-existent. Transport Secretary Grant Shapps says he hopes it can be dealt with quickly.
It's actually just a question of our coming to agreements to be able to recognise their version in Europe called the Digital Pass in order to be able to do the same in return. So I'm hoping to be able to return pretty quickly to be able to do that. Easier from some places than others because in America, for example, there are 50 different systems, one for each state, and it's largely paper-based.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, remembering the journalist and diplomat Edward Mortimer, whose death at the age of 77 was announced yesterday. After a lengthy career at the Financial Times, he was picked by then UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan to serve as his chief speechwriter and director of communications. The Guardian noted yesterday that working together, the two men encountered a whitewater rafting journey of highs and lows as they and the UN navigated international challenges, including the war in Iraq. Edward Mortimer was a fervent believer in the UN and specifically in the role of the Secretary-General.
It's amazing to see now how many people seem to announce their policy decisions in the form of tweets. I think that the Secretary-General, has to be able to play her or his part in that great national debate, because I think that the Secretary-General, by the mere fact of being chosen to represent the whole of humanity, commands a degree of attention. So I think the Secretary-General needs to be able to remind the world why we have the United Nations. What are the principal interests that humanity has in common?
Edward Mortimer speaking in 2015. He was passionate about reform of the UN Security Council, one unresolved aspect of his time at UN headquarters in New York. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, police in Haiti say a hit squad made up of retired Colombian soldiers assassinated President Jovenel Moïse on Wednesday. COVID infections in the Australian state of New South Wales have jumped again. India says it will be ready to roll out COVID-19 vaccines to under 18-year-olds from September. And the UK says it's working to relax travel restrictions for people who've been vaccinated in other countries. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited, and that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times, I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
All right, it's something magical, all right, or what? Anyway, so let's take a listen. It is 15 minutes into the top of the hour, or is it 15 minutes into the top of the hour? How does that even make any sense? So I have to tell you, I'm panicking. I'm panicking that I'm going to screw this whole thing up today. So that's why I'm like, oh, da, 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 da. I mean, as you can see, my hands light up green. It is so bright. If you are on the streamer, look at that. It lights up green because of all the lights that are on this damn thing. Okay, so let's start talking about what is going on inside of the world of the news, because I think that that's going to be important as you and I are hanging out this morning, doing the things that we do, getting you ready for this lovely, lovely weekend. So let's start talking about it. Let's go into the hit list right away. Taking it from the top of the news, 4 suspects have been killed and 2 others arrested in connection to yesterday's early morning assassination of Haitian President. I don't even have my default button anymore. President Moise. Reports indicated that other members of the plot are at large. Haitian officials are referring to those that are killed or captured as mercenaries. So there you go. Hold on real quick. I have to be able to hear exactly what you're hearing. Okay, so let's continue right now. The European Union has slapped Volkswagen and BMW with $1 billion fine for colluding to suppress technology that would decrease emissions for their vehicles. They worked with Daimler to agree not to compete with each other on nitrogen oxide cleaning technology typically used on diesel passenger cars. Yeah, that's something that was going on right there. The other portion is an unofficial EU statement accuses that 5 car manufacturers, Daimler, BMW, Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche, possess the technology to reduce harmful emissions beyond what was legally required under EU emission standards, but they avoided to compete by using technology the full potential to clean better than what was required by law. Daimler got on scratch because the whistleblower were uncovered the cabal. So there you go. So when you hear something like this, what comes to mind right away? When you hear something like this, what do you say? Okay, well, now we got some issues. Now we got some things to talk about. Because that's the weird thing. The weird thing here is that we start talking about this and then we go, okay, what is going to happen moving forward? Because you can't look at this and just go, okay, slap on the wrist. Well, that was really my hand, but slap on the wrist and let's move forward. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. There's that. Let's continue on. Dodge is looking to roll out a new line of muscle cars by 2024 with them all being electric. So that will be interesting to see on how that ends up working. But they're not calling them electric cars. Instead, they're going to give the dorky name or the dorky nickname of e-muscle. E-muscle vehicles. What exactly are you? I'm an e-muscle bodybuilder. Dodge CEO Tim Knutis said that electric vehicle technology is evolving to the point that will soon surpass the power of internal combustion engines can deliver. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to add the little vroom vroom to it for it to sound a little bit more legit? I mean, I'm just asking the question, of course, because that's going to be the other weird part. If you don't add something that makes it sound like it's getting a little oomph behind it, it's going to be like, okay, what's going on here? I mean, just something to think about. What do you think? Would you buy an electric muscle car, or excuse me, an e-car, an e-muscle car, or an e-muscle vehicle? Isn't that like what the new titling is for the new Ford? Isn't it like an E-Mach Mustang?
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue going down. New unemployment claims jumped last week, up 23,000 from the week before. But continuing claims were down 145,000, continuing claims to the lowest since March of 2020, when the first wave of the destructive lockdowns triggered. The destructive lockdowns triggered, or the unprecedented pandemic, an unprecedented spike in unemployment in small business and small closures. So there you go, some stuff going on there with the unemployment levels. What are you seeing out in your neck of the woods? What are you seeing coming around and coming about and all that kind of fun stuff? Because that's the other thing that I'm always curious about. Because when you start taking a look at it and you start going around and saying, okay, this is what's happening, what's the next thing? What's the thing that comes up right away? Because I don't know. I never know of what's going to happen. I go, okay, so this is the coolness. This is the cool beansness. But also at the same time, too, I go, okay, if this is what's happening now in real time, what's happening in other places that I'm not familiar with? Because you know that everybody has their own kind of turn of reality. Everybody looks at this and goes, okay, that's going to be different for me than what it is for Bob or Harry or whoever. So what do you think? I don't know. Some things that just drive me crazy as I sit back and think about it. Anyways, let's continue talking. NASA's Cassinian spacecraft has been sent back data about the chemical composition of liquid plumes shooting out of Saturn's moons. And analysis says that these could be a good sign of microbacterial life that there might be in that general area. The chemicals include carbon dioxide and all other kind of weird shit as well, and all hallmarks of potential forms of life might be able to actually be there. So it's also believed to have a warm ocean under the surface. So that would be very interesting to see. It would be very interesting to talk about on how it would actually have a warm ocean underneath everything. So what do you think when you hear that? Like, is this something that triggers you that goes, that could be interesting to take a look at? Or do you turn around and go, not for me? I don't know. A lot of interesting stuff, of course, always being able to talk about some of these things going on first thing in the morning. I did tell you it is going to be the board playing day as we are doing this. Anyway, smart microchip manufacturer Qualcomm is getting ready to get into the hardware business itself. It's been building the chips for Android devices for years now, but has partnered with computer maker Asus for its own smartphone offering. The device will cost about $1,500, which is more expensive than most expensive Apple or Samsung device. It is catering specifically to users of Qualcomm's Snapdragon mobile gaming platform. So, I mean, I can tell you, I take a look at this and go, okay, I already have a hard time with $900, $1,000, $1,200 for a phone. Duh. So I can't even imagine starting to think out of the blue on how much this phone would cost. And then all of a sudden turn around and go, oh yeah, that's perfectly fine to do. I mean, at what point do you go, this is starting to get way too much for a phone? At what point do you turn around and go, not for me, not for you, or not for whoever? I mean, but again, $1,500, I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder. Anyway, doctors are scratching their heads over the summer increase of respiratory, let's see if we can butcher this, Syntyl virus, which usually pops up during the winter months. The medical director of Beacon Children's Hospital in South Bend tells AP, I've never seen cases in July or close to July about this. Worth asking, to keeping the kids locked away at home from germs, would that be possible build immunities and forcing them to wear unsanitary mask everywhere for months and end this possibility? I love the sarcasm and smart asses of the guy that writes this. So there you go. Something to think about. Not that I agree with everything they just wrote.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, the Surfside condo collapse has officially claimed 60 lives as 80 people remain unaccounted for and only 35 bodies have been identified. Rescue efforts have now officially ended as authorities say there is no chance of life in the rubble at this particular point. Of course, it's kind of a difficult thing to talk about as it does come about, but I mean, being here in Florida, not saying that, hey, we're all privy to everything that is going on, but it is definitely some things to think about as we are seeing this and some of the things that are out there and about. But here's the thing. When they pulled the rest of that building, and I understood what they were doing, of course, just because of the general consensus of, hey, it's not safe for us to go in there and try to be able to rescue the others. It's just one of those rough points in life where you start going, yeah, I mean, whatever is going to happen is going to start happening right away. But you know this already as we sit around and talk about what we do for our profession. Anyways, let's continue talking. Despite reports of Kim Jong-un Jr.'s recent weight loss, analyst says that it's likely not because of a health emergency. There has been no evidence of or special drugs coming into the clinic where he is treated. Spies also indicated that he is holding long meetings typically to the Communist Party of North Korea. So there you go. There's also no signs that North Korea has accepted any COVID vaccines from their other global partners, just for reference purposes real quick. Anyways, let me kind of jump over here, as we are 26 minutes past the top of the hour. And let's get Johnny Smalls to talk for a moment about the Market Beat Minute.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, July 9th, 2021. It took a day for reality to sink in, but the market reacted to the minutes from the last Fed meeting. The key takeaway is that the Fed is talking about tapering. The only question is when they'll begin. Based on the chatter, it looks like the bias is sooner rather than later. The S&P 500 fell more than 1.5% at the low of the day Thursday, but managed to bounce back and regain half the losses by the close. If the market can't regain its footing Friday, we could be in for more losses. The next target for key support is still more than 1.5% below the current price action. And the next major catalyst for the market will be earnings season. That begins next week with the reports from the big banks. While the results will be important, what the market wants to see are increased share buybacks and big dividend increases. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that. Always keeping us in the loop of what the hell is going on inside of this lovely world of ours. You know, he's definitely keeping us, what I would say, in the mix. That's for sure.
You're in the big mix.
Okay, so there you go. 27 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue talking real quick. There will be no fans in the stands in Tokyo when the Olympics kick off in a couple of weeks. And the nationally televised address, Prime Minister Yoshida Suga said that the new state of emergency that does go into effect on Monday will stay in effect through the duration of the game. So there you go. Some people were expecting some locals to be able to participate and be there at the games or in the games or whatever the hell you want to put it. But it looks like that will not be the case or the scenario. So a lot of stuff to think about as we are coming about and talking about that. So there you go. A lot of stuff. So here's the gim. You know, when we normally do freeform on Fridays, we'd say, hey, let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. Or we could kind of go into main story and all that stuff. And I'm taking a look around today, and I'm really going, is it really necessary for a main story? Or is it really necessary just to sit around and do whatever? Or should I just hit the stop button? You know, I say that jokingly. Because last time I just randomly hit the stop button, a lot of people freaked out. And that's cool. I like that. But also at the same time, too, I just kind of look at this and go, okay, let's not freak out about it, but let's do some other things. Let's make sure that we're bringing something of value to you. So what do you want to talk about today? What do you have going on inside of your neck of the woods? Is there anything that you're noticing that is coming across as trends as you're getting back into the work environment and the normal scenarios are going around? We will be taking text messages at 866-930-SFM1. That's 866-930-SFM1. That's for the radio listeners. And then if you are inside of the chat box, you're always more than welcome of actually going in and typing something inside of the box, and we'll see if we can respond correctly into it, of course, and go into that scenario. Anyways, it is, what is it? I was going to say 29 minutes, and then it changed on me right at the moment I was saying it. It is 29. No, it is not 29. It is 30 minutes past the top of the hour. We are still hanging out on this lovely Friday, doing the things that we do around here. So do you have anything magically planned for today? Anything cool that you're doing? Anything unexpected? So I will let this cat out of the bag. Hopefully everything will come to pass today. But today I'm actually having the opportunity of hanging out with a couple of show hosts from here. And we will be sitting around and doing a recording. I get to hang out with Alan Wooford from Dragging Up 6.0 fame. And I'm also being able to hang out with Sheldon Primus, where we'll actually be able to to sit around and talk about some of the things that are going on inside of the industry. So I'm getting to do that today, which this is something that I haven't been able to do in person in quite some time. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up coming up, or even if we'll be coherent enough to actually even come out with some kind of good sequence of events there. That's for sure, as we do the things that we do when we are all partnering up together. The other portion is on Tuesday, I actually did a special recording yesterday, which I haven't done in quite some time, where we will be doing a dual interview with Sam Goodman. And Sam Goodman and I were kind of jumping around. I will actually be on his show. He will be on mine. So it'll be interesting to see. It's always a good time hanging out with Sam, doing the things taking a listen to what he's doing, because that guy's super busy. Always has all kinds of fun stuff. Anyways, let's get you moving and grooving. I think because we're at the midpoint, let's do what we would normally do towards the end. And that's not hitting the ender, but let's do this real quick, because it is definitely Friday. And we don't want you to go into the weekend with any kind of frustration or anything to that extent. So I'm going to give you a 30-second countdown. If you're not familiar with what we do on Fridays, this is how it normally goes. I give you the 30-second countdown. I want you to scream and shout and let it all out, all that frustration that you had throughout the week before you get into the weekend. That way you can have some fun, hang out with the fam, and do all kinds of cool things. So if you kind of give me some time, we'll get that rolling here in 3, 2, and 1. Oh, nothing turns it off better than the DJ air horns. That is for sure. So hopefully you're able to get everything out and about that you had pent up and frustrated and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's get you into the Market Beat Minute, because I think that this is going to be important. So let's not Market Beat. Let's get you into the Motivation Minute. That's what I meant to say right now. Let's get John Smalls back in here and let him give you some motivation for today.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Brent. Dalai Lama says, "The very purpose of our life is to seek happiness." That's a great quote, Brent. That's also a great purpose, too. We should all want to be happy. I think one key to happiness for each and every one of us is try to make others around you happy. Most people are like an echo. If I shout a happy message into a canyon, I hear a happy message echo back. If I shout something mean, guess what? I'm going to hear something mean echo back. And I think most people are like that. If you're kind to them, they're typically kind right back to you. I wish this applied to everybody. Some people, though, need a little extra happiness sent their way to even get a little smile. Make that your mission, and I think you'll have fun. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Yes, definitely have to agree with that. It does seem sometimes very echo chamberish when you are able to share and provide some of that information that we were talking about. That's for sure. So there you go. So I don't know. I think it's good. So good stuff for sure. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the world. I am going to tell you about this because this is going to be the most important thing that I tell you throughout the whole show. Know that you're not alone. Whether you have struggled with suicide or depression yourself, know that you're not alone. Whether you have someone who has passed away to suicide, or you have actually heard of people running into issues, or you're running into issues, go to my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. That's the AFSP.org. That's AFSP.org for more information, or you can call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255 for more information, or text the word TALK to 741-741. Please understand, we can't do what we do without you. The most important part of what's on the planet, which is you. You know this already.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
So for years, I have been telling you how I sleep so miserably at night, but that has all changed as of recent, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you about my friends at Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep has a sleep quiz that takes just about 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why should you buy a mattress made for someone else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you will know will be perfect for the way you sleep. Everybody is unique, and Helix knows that. So they have several different mattress models to choose from. They have a soft, medium, and firm mattress. Mattress is great for cooling you down if you sleep hot. And even at Helix Plus mattresses for plus-size sleepers. I took the Helix quiz, and I was matched with the Helix Midnight Luxe mattress because I wanted something that felt soft, and I sleep on my side. It was such a different approach and exactly on how I was able to sleep. I love it. It's a huge upgrade from what I had before, that's for sure. The kids love it, even though they shouldn't be jumping on my bed, but that's a whole other story. And my wife loves it, which is important. So if you're looking for a mattress, you just take the quiz. You order the mattress, and you're matched to it. And the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't even need to go to the mattress store again. Helix is awesome, but you don't need my word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. Just go to helixsleep.com/safety. That's helixsleep.com/safety. There, take the 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you up with a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try the mattress for 100 nights, risk-free. They'll even pick it up if you don't love it, but you will. Helix is offering up to $200 off of all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/safety. That's helixsleep.com/safety for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows. Don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you. Oh, he's calling me. This is Oi. This is Oi telling you that he's calling her. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. You know, I'm always amazed by all these artists that allow us to play their music. Always some good times. Definitely get to listen to some different things out there, that's for sure. Okay, so let's get away from that. It is 41 minutes past the top of the hour. I don't know, I'm liking it. I'm liking it for some reason. So there you go. Let's bring that down all the way here. Anyway, so a lot of stuff going on this fantastic Friday as we are talking and moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's talk about some dog napping. And animal experts say that sleeping with your dog in bed can improve your mental health. And yeah, you thought I meant dog napping with something else. According to the behaviorist Karen Barrett, you should welcome your dog or cat into your bed as long as you establish dominance. I'm not even sure what the hell that means. Obviously, the dog is sleeping on your head, then you think then they think that they are superior. That's the problem. But if your doggo is happy lying next to you, she says the results are, they release special chemicals inside of your body that encourages you to cuddle up together. It's also so basic and generic survival instincts, and it also says that for singles and those whose partners have passed, having a dog that sleeps in bed is comforting. This sounds really weird. A study conducted by the yearly Canisius College in Buffalo found that women who sleep with their dog were more likely to be have restful nights of sleep. Those who opted to share their bed with, opted to share their bed with their cat or human. Okay. I don't know. Sounds a little sketchy. Sounds definitely a little sketchy to me.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, that sounded a little sketched up. I'm not sure what the hell was going on with that one. Anyways, news of the weird. A Virginia angler set a new record when he learned that a 3-pound, 9-ounce goldfish, Jeremy Father has been fishing into Hunting Creek, a tributary of the Potomac River, when he caught a 16-inch goldfish. The fish, which measures almost 15 inches. So hold on. A 16-inch goldfish, the fish that measures almost 15 inches in circumference, was heavy enough to capture the state record. Right now, Aquaman is looking for the identical one of his daughter never finds out when it goes missing. So there you go. The California Highway Patrol says that officers pulled over a vehicle when it noticed an unusual visual obstruction in the hood. The CHP said that the Instagram post of the Toyota Prius was stopped on the area of the highway where the officer saw a large satellite dish mounted in the front of the windshield. The officers asked the driver if the satellite dish impeded their view, and the person responded, "Only when I make right turns." No word on whether the driver was ticketed. He definitely won't have a transmission problem. You get it? You get it? He won't have a transmission problem. Anyway, so a lot of weird stuff. Why would you be driving around with a satellite on your on the top of your car? Just seems a little awkward if you kind of get it from my direction. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the world as we are 45 minutes past the top of the hour. No winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $94 million jackpot or a $66.7 million lump sum. No winner for Wednesday night's Powerball drawing. Saturday's drawing will be for $127 million jackpot or an $88.9 million lump sum. You kind of already knew where I was going to go with that, so there you go. If you play the game, it's good for you. If you don't play the game, well, then I guess that's your thing. that's your thing. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other stuff. These albums are set to be released today, so if you're on the lookout, Museum of Love, Life of Mammals, The Goon Sax, Mirror 2, The Wallflowers, Exit Wounds. So there you go. So there's some stuff. What is this? Actress Sharon Stone is sharing her regimen for staying fit as a fiddle. She tells WSJ, the Wall Street Journal magazine, that she eats fruit for breakfast, including watermelon with feta cheese and mint swimp labs in her pool, and prioritizes 8 hours of sleep a night. She kicks back in a bath filled with dead sea salt. What? And likes to do lunges to stay limber. How does this even become news stories? I don't know. But there you go. There you go. What is this? Reality star Spencer Pratt says that everyone on his show, The Hills, The New Beginnings, are the worst people ever. The comment was in response to a fan asking Twitter whether any of his co-stars had apologized for how they treated him and his wife. Why is this in here? Somebody needs to explain this to me. Anyways, let's continue talking. List of the week. Here are more 10 popular oceans area spots ranked from the cheapest to the most expensive. So if you want to be in an area next to an ocean, let me tell them to you. Dennisport, Massachusetts at number 10. At number 9, Grand Isles, Louisiana. Number 8, Matagorda, Texas. Number 7, Long Beach, Washington. Not to be confused with California. Number 6, Chinacotague Island, Virginia. Number 5, Swansboro, North Carolina. Number 4, Rockland, Maine. You might not believe this one, but at number 3 is Daytona Beach, Florida. At number 2, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And the number 1 spot with most affordable ocean areas. Ready for this? So ranked cheapest to the most expensive. Okay. So maybe that's the way. Atlantic City, New Jersey. To determine affordability, Realtor.com at the medium home list prices was more than 1,300 towns located out throughout America's coastlines from May 2020 to April 2021. Because we're definitely not basing this off of prices that we're getting today for houses, that's for sure. Because those things have seemed to skyrocket over the last little bit, and that's not a change. So. But there you go. There you go. There you go. Some things for sure. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, because those are always important to talk about. So back in 2018, let's do 1981. Let's do 1981. Back in 1981, Nintendo releases arcade game Donkey Kong. The game was the quest to save Princess Pauline from an oversized gorilla. Donkey Kong, oversized gorilla Donkey Kong. It was the star of the franchise that included some of Nintendo's most iconic characters. I think doesn't she become Princess Toadstool at some point? And then also you get Mario inside of there, who is the attacker in that particular one. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays real quick, because this is going to be important. Georgie Henley turns 26. Douglas Booth, 29. Mitchell Musso, 30. Fred Savage turns 45 today. Jack White, 46. Courtney Love, 57. Jordan Belfort, 59. Professional wrestler Kevin Nash turned 62. Part of the NWO original, there just in case. Kelly McGillis turned 64. Tom Hanks turned 65 today. O.J. Simpson, yeah, you might have heard of that guy. He turned 74 today. And then David Hockley turns 84, just in case if you wanted to know. Anyways, if you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, I got a couple of those for you. National Sugar Cookie Day. Collector Car Appreciation Day. And then National Motorcycle Day. So definitely some stuff to do for sure as we are talking. Anyways, before I forget, get too far away from it, let me tell you about my friend Dr. Todd Conklin and his event that he has going on. If you go to safetyfm.io, you can participate in the Bouncing Forward class that he has going on at this particular moment. It is his newest class, readily available to you as part of the general public. Take a listen to how he's telling people and discussing with people on how to bounce forward from the pandemic. So there you go. You can go to safetyfm.io for some more information if you're so inclined to find out more information. So there you go. Anyways, a lot of fun stuff going on as always inside of the show, doing some weird things. Let's continue talking a little bit more over here. And let's talk about did you know? If you like to rock and roll at night, New York City could be the place for you. The city office of the nightlife is proposing a test of 24-hour party district as part of the 160-page report. They wrote, uniform closing hours for nightclub businesses can result groups of people congregating in the streets, elevating tensions between patrons and residents. Allowing 24-hour use of specific districts, if implemented properly, can help people move to their own pace and reduce conflicts. So let's talk about that for a moment. So if you are one of those people that likes to show up late to a party, and now they have a 24-hour party scenario, could you imagine, hey, let's go meet up at 5 o'clock in the morning and let's go dancing? Or let's go meet up at 11 o'clock in the morning and let's go dancing. I mean, it will definitely be some different aspects to a lot of things going on in the future for sure.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. So we're talking about Sugar Cookie Day. I just wanted to make reference to this because I said it earlier. It's honoring the cookie that is so delicious yet so simple. All you need is sugar, flour, butter, eggs, vanilla, and baking powder, and then after that, some insulin. Just some things to think about for sure as we are talking about that. Anyways, let's continue a little bit more. We'll talk about some other things. Let's talk about some whack facts. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team in his sophomore year. Think about that for a moment. The human brain cannot feel pain. Almost 80% of millionaires drive used cars. To find out watermelon is ripe, knock on it. If it sounds hollow, it's ready to eat. The word clue originally meant ball of wine. That's why you unravel clues to solve a mystery. The average daily cow produces 4 times her weight in manure. The average dairy cow, not daily cow, produces 4 times her weight in manure each year. Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of fun stuff with that. Okay, let's talk about some other things. Shark Week kicks off on Sunday. I don't know about a lot of sharks, but I know about wearing shark teeth around your neck is a great way to let others know that you sell pot. I mean, I'm just saying. A study claimed that cell phones are eroding personal relationships. At least that's what I think when I read while I text my daughter explaining that I'd be late for her senior year orientation while in the middle of particularly intense Pokemon Go session is something to think about. But I think about that for a moment. That's not a joke. Think about how often you might go somewhere and you're hanging out with some people, and all of a sudden, the phone comes about. The phone is everything. The phone is everything that must be accounted for. You know, it becomes one of those weird things where the phone does tend to hinder a lot of the stuff that goes on. I mean, I'm just saying that out loud as we talk about it. So it is something to think about as we do move forward. Anyways, let's continue talking. Courtney Love is 57 today. No word yet on how that's possible. Joey Chestnut won a 2021 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest on Saturday by eating the world's record 76 hot dogs. How is this even possible? I have a wood chipper and can't even work it that fast, so it's something to think about. A study in Psychology Today magazine once said that one of the best ways to get someone to go to bed with you is to make them laugh. Coincidentally, for me, one of the best ways to make someone laugh is to ask them to go to bed with me. Oh, that's terrible.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I don't know where some of these things come from, but hey, it does make it onto the radar, so we do talk about them as they do come about and so on. So there you go. That's a lot of stuff that we have going on. So here's the thing. I shall be back to, let me see if everything works out. I will be back on Monday, God willing, of course. We will get that rolling and bowling, get the show on the road, but I don't think I'm going to be here on Tuesday. Yeah, we'll talk about that then. Who cares? So that's the thing. I always love it, having the time to be able to spend with you, hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that we do. Now, recently I've been in talks with some people about doing some additional stuff on the station. So we're going to start talking here very shortly about some changes possibly coming to Safety FM, that particular radio station. So just so you're fully aware, so that will be the changes coming to Safety FM